A bunch of you guys have asked me about my tone when I'm busking and how I achieve that and whatnot. So all of it is just into a helix LT, which I run into a mixer that then goes into like a cheap PA speaker. So all of the tone is from the helix effectively. As long as the speakers are capable of playing music, the helix should work in it, as long as you're just mindful of your gain staging and not pushing the speaker too hard so that it like shits its pants. So I'll start off by running you through the unit itself. So I prefer to use it in snapshot mode. I kind of swap between snapshot mode and stomp boxes. I don't switch between patches all that much. So I've got like one patch which like I do most of my stuff on, and then I have a few patches for like individual songs where it's like an iconic guitar tone, so I've tried to match the guitar tone. So like for example, like anything with Dimebag in it. Dimebag is like famously incredibly scooped, like mid-scooped tone, and like that's not my preference, but the songs kind of sound weird if you add too much mids into your guitar tone, so like I have a separate patch for that. I play like a couple of more sort of classic rock songs, like a bit of Deep Purple and stuff like that, so like I have another patch that's more geared towards that sort of old Marshall-y sound, but like most of the videos that I've already put up use this patch. The majority of time I'm using the patches on the bottom row because they're close to my foot, so I'm like less likely to stomp wrong by accident. And then the top row for more like specific instances of songs. I've arranged them left to right just based on like how much gain they have, so it's like kind of a mental thing of like if I'm performing a section of a song, I'm like, this could use less gain, then like you just go one stomp box to the right, and then if it needs more, I go one stomp box to the left. So furthest to the left is like the lead tone. So I like use that for like solos and stuff. Yeah, mostly just for solos. It's got like a little bit of a dB boost as well for solos. Next down is a rhythm tone. So let's go back a bit. So with this rhythm tone, I can sometimes swap modes into the stomp box mode, and on that bottom layer, I'll do. I've got them all set so that they go. It's only momentary, so the pedal only activates while I'm touching it. So I can do cool stuff like do like a delay on an individual note, and then let the delay decay separately in the background while I'm still playing. So like. So you can hear it's like still trailing off in the distance, but like the rest of the tone's dry. Or another example would be for like the pitch shifter, if I want to do like that riff. That riff doesn't go for the whole song, so I'll just leave my foot on it for that individual part. But then, like say Kelly's Mutant Pour-In, which I already put a video up for, like that's got an octave harmony for just like one riff. Like it sounds thin as without it, and I didn't want to put the lower octave in the background. I didn't want to put the lower octave in the backing track because I thought that'd be lame. Next, and then I've got a phaser there. So I don't really use the phaser all that much, but like it's there for a while. Next up is this kind of crunchy sound. It's like almost like classic rock, like yeah, like a little bit more classic rocky. And then down the end, it's just a classic clean tone. Yeah, which sounds nice. Now on this top row is stuff that's like a little bit more specific to individual songs. So above the lead, there's ODD. So ODD is like overdrive delay. It's kind of like sort of like the crunch tone, but with like a bunch of delay on it. So I use that for like the start of Flying Whales, or for like any sort of Dead Kennedy stuff. Like, The ambient one is just like the rhythm tone, but with like a lot of delays on it. I think it's got two layers of delay and like a nice reverb. I guess it's exactly what it says on the tip. It's just like for ambient sections of songs. Then the phaser one that's just settings for like specifically a one moment in this Bodum after midnight. Which is cool. And then Judgment is like, again, just like one specific song. Without Judgment, there's like a bit where in the original recording, I don't know if it was a delay or a canon between the two guitarists, but it does this like. So I thought that was really cool, but I didn't. Yeah, again, I didn't want to do that as a backing track thing. I thought it'd be cooler to do it as a delay setting. So I've just got that snapshot to make sure that the delay timing is right, because like it's tap tempo for the other snapshots, but for that one in particular, I've got it set so that it's like locked into the exact timing of the backing track. Like I had to do like a bunch of math to figure out like what the second ratio would be. But yeah, so I got that nailed in. So I guess now we'll have a quick look at the actual signal path. So over here, so we start off just with pitch. With the pitch pedal, so simple pitch for October. I think you got to put your pitch pedal like right at the start of the chain, otherwise it's sort of like it doesn't. Once you put a bit of saturation onto your tone, it doesn't really recognize what you're trying to do, like what notes you're trying to do, and it comes out like all computer chippy and stuff. And like that's cool for a creative effect, but it doesn't sound like a harmony. So like if you want the harmony to come through, then like you kind of need to do that. Then after that, I just treat it like my actual signal chain, like I would for a live rig. So I've got my wah up front, then I've got a high shelf, about like 5.8K onwards. So this is usually set to like maybe only 2 dB, but because I busk a lot, like I'll kind of burn through strings, and as the strings get older, they get more dull. So like I slowly turn the brightness up on that, and then when on that high shelf as like the days go on. So like when I'm on to like day 3, and I would have been hitting the strings for like, I don't know, like 30 something hours at that point. Like they've lost a lot of their brightness, but like aren't dead yet. So like I'll throw on a high shelf just to give them like a little bit more life. It's not quite as good as just changing your strings, but like who the fuck has enough money to change their strings every goddamn day? Like not me, that's who. So I'll just use the high shelf for a bit instead. After that, we got like a light amount of compression. That helps blend the tone from the high shelf into your actual tone. And like a little bit of compression, like it's a pretty low ratio. It's only a 3:1, but it's just enough to sort of tighten up. Next after that is distortion or like overdrive pedal. So just the classic 808 emulator. I do sometimes use the Centaur, or I can't remember what the model it's representing is, but it's called Air Apparent on here. Like I really like that one as well. I kind of get like I just swap between the 3 like all the time. Like I'll just get kind of bored of the tone of one from hearing it every day, and then I'll swap to the other one. I'll be like, oh my god, why don't I use this all the time? Then I'll get bored of that and I'll swap to the other one. But those 3 are the ones that I love the most at the moment, and for the videos that I've put out so far, most of them were with the 808. So I've got the gain not too high, a little bit of tone boost to tighten up the low end, level up nice and high, just to kind of push the saturation, and then that runs into a noise gate. Cool. Then I've got that runs into a splitter, where I've got my amp head, which so I'm using the EDH 5150 Mark III red channel emulator, so it's like EV Panama Red, but like that's the amp model that it's doing. You can see my settings are on there. So gains at on the rhythm setting, gains on 5, the lows, was it lows 5.1, mid 4.6, high 7.5, so a little bit of a mid scoop. I don't like scooping mids too much. I'll usually add them back in at the end of the chain, but the guitar that I busk with, the Corlet, has EMG H4s in it, and they're very mid-heavy pickups. So, like, they need a little bit of a scoop to sound to like even out. Yeah, other guitars I have, like this one, can do with like a little bit of a mid boost, and I've got another guitar with a Damasio X2N in it that is like very bass heavy, so usually I'll need to compensate that with like a fair bit of like adding in a fair bit of bass and high end. But for the EMGs, I find these settings work pretty good. I like to add in a good amount of presence. Everything else is kind of just like set stock standard. But the other side of the splitter is just another compressor, but on clamped down a lot harder. So the way I use it is kind of as like almost like a channel selector. So the clean channel routes mostly to just the compressor with nothing else. And then I've got the clean snapshot also pulls back the gain a whole bunch on the amp head. So they come together. So they get the saturation from the amp head, but you get that nice clean tone. From like if I'm spent all this money on these like pickups to sound nice, like why would I not let them ring out the way they're supposed to? So earlier I was talking about how snapshots can change the settings as well as of stuff, as well as what stomp boxes are activated. So this is a great example, is like the actual gain on the amp. So you can see here on the clean channel, then on the crunch channel, then on the rhythm channel, then on the lead channel, the master volume goes up a little bit there as well. I do highly recommend, like, if you're using this sort of kit, like if you're using a helix, like get your hands on some IRs and experiment with them, because like they'll change your tone a lot more than probably any of the other effects. Like your tone stack from the amp, like once stuff gets distorted enough, it just sounds like distortion. But like the the EQ sweep on your IR makes like a massive difference. It's crazy. Then after that, I've got the pathway goes down to the second line. Then I've got my 2 modulation effects. The chorus is almost always turned on. It just makes sound like bigger and wider, especially because like I'm playing on my own. Like there's only the one guitar, and a lot of the time there wouldn't be 2 guitars on the backing track. So I've got a chorus there just to try and make it sound a little bit wider. Sometimes I'll swap the chorus out for an ADT, so like a very like less faster than slapback delay, which has a pretty similar effect. But sometimes it starts to sound a little bit too 80s. Like I like 80s stuff, but like sometimes it sounds a little bit too 80s. Then my temporary phaser is just there, so I like to throw that before the chorus. No reason in particular, like it sounds good there, so I didn't move it. Then after that we've got 2 delays. So one is a duct delay. So that's the one that I use for, like, that's kind of my solo. So the duct delay is great because like it turns down while you're playing, hence like the name. But then it still has the delay effect when you stop. But the ducking stops when you turn it off, and it lets the trails continue as if they weren't there. Cool. After that is this longer delay. So that's the one that's specifically being used for the without judgment part. So that one stays off most of the time. That's only really on for the without judgment or the ambient setting, I guess. Then last up on the line is the reverb. So there's a great interview with Eddie Van Halen where he says plate reverb makes everything better. And I tested his theory, and he's correct. He's spot on. Plate reverb does make everything better. I just had it with the stock settings and adjusted the mix to what felt right to me. Cool. And then last on here is this final EQ. So I usually keep that turned off, but it's on there because when I'm out busking, there's depending like where I'm set up, like it's a different acoustic environment all the time, and you can get random ass resonant frequencies that kind of ruin the overall sound. And I can't suck them out of the backing track, and I don't have the equipment to suck it out of the final speaker, but I can pull it out of my guitar tone so that it doesn't, I guess, add to the problem. So that's what I use that last EQ for. If I'm in an environment that has like a couple of resonant frequencies that sound garbage, I can cut them out, or boost as the case may be necessary. But yeah, that's like my overall. As if I forgot about this. So volume pedal before the delays, because then I can fade out my feedback into the delay, and then the delay has its own natural fade out, so like I can control the amount of input signal into the delay, which is it's cool for like making atmospheric effects. Yeah. I hope that covers everything. I'm going to put this patch and the IRs in a download link in the description. Feel free to test it out. If you like how it sounds, like let me know. If you've got any more questions, if there's anything I can help with, just feel free to ask. And when I get some time, I'll make an effort to put it together for you. Anyways, thanks heaps for watching. Thanks heaps for commenting on all the videos and asking me questions and requesting songs. Cheers.